What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central. In today's episode, we'll be talking about people like Bill Simmons, Ernie Johnson, just wanting now to say that the Bulls are championship contenders. Welcome to the party. We'll also be talking about and previewing the Chicago Bulls game against the Cleveland Cavaliers and how that game may not be as easy on them as some fans are thinking. We'll talk about all that and more right after this. What's up, Bulls fans? And so on this episode, the first thing that I want to start with, the very first thing is people in the media like Ernie Johnson, Bill Simmons, recently coming out and saying that they think the Chicago Bulls are contenders. And while I've been a big proponent, right, of saying that we don't need the national media validation, we don't need that. I like this team having a chip on their shoulder. I like being looked at as overachieving and everything else like that. I love us not having the bandwagon from the national media. But what I will say is that it's good that people are starting to recognize what we have. And if they didn't recognize before, I always said we were going to make them. Bulls, top 10 in both offense and defense. How does a team like that people seem to sleep on? And, you know, even now, I was shout out to Flat Sports TV. I was on Flight Sports TV last night. And even one of the guys there was just saying, oh, well, DeMar's never proven himself in the playoffs. He's seen the shrink in the playoffs. Like, fuck all that. At the end of the day, a team that is playing like this is not about one player, but a team who, like I said, top 10 in both offense and defense, to say or to think or to not realize that this team has a chance, right? I can understand if they want to say that they shouldn't be favored. I can understand if they say, well, I got the Nets and Philly and possibly Milwaukee over them in a 7-game series. I can understand that, but to act and talk about this team as if it's not legit. This is why I love what our Bulls team is doing. This is why I love when the chips are down and we have players out, that we had a game like we did the other night against the Denver Nuggets. We'll see what we have against the Cleveland Cavaliers and as well as this stretch while we have our players out. Yes, we more than likely are probably going to lose some of these games. But the fact of the matter is when you evaluate this team, when you evaluate the heart and grit and how the fact that we have been in just about every game down the stretch, except a handful, right? Golden State, Houston, and the Indiana game. Other than that, we've really been into every game that we've played down the stretch. The Bulls are legit. And I said that in my last video, and that's it. It's just, to see that as a Bulls fan, to see people start coming around and realizing the value in this team, it's about goddamn time. But we're going to continue to take our respect. And we know what this team is capable of. But I did want to talk about that. Let me know down below what you think about people like Ernie Johnson and Bill Simmons now starting to talk about the Bulls as being actual contenders. How does that make you feel as a fan of this team, especially if you supported this team since day one? Let me know what you guys think down below about that. Let's talk about this game that we have coming against the Cleveland Cavaliers. This game is probably not going to be as easy in some ways that some people are thinking, and it may be easier in some ways as well. For one, like, who's going to guard Zach LaVine on the Cleveland Cavaliers? It's going to be a tough test for them coming into this game to guard Zach LaVine. With that being said, especially if this team plays together with that ball movement like we know that they can do. If we get contributions like we did last time from Derrick Jones Jr. as well as Io out there on that court, it's going to be an interesting night. How we guard Darius Garland. I think Lonzo Ball is going to eat Darius Garland alive on defense, especially with the size difference and things like that. But we do have to talk about the front court of the Cleveland Cavaliers and how they can give the Bulls fits depending on how things work out. It can go that way. I'm not saying that I predict that it will, but it can get very interesting, especially on the rebounding boards and rebounding boards. Of course, the rebounds, that's what they do. But especially on the boards, second chance points, the length of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Going into the ratings for the Cleveland Cavaliers, they actually rank above the Chicago Bulls in defensive rating. They are currently 4th in defensive rating, where the Bulls sit 5th in defensive rating. That's surprising, at least to me as well. Like, when you look at the Cleveland Cavaliers roster, they don't seem like a roster that would be too good on defense, but they are sitting right now 4th in the defensive advanced metric. So again, this game could go down and be a defensive matchup down late in the game. And then as well as on offense, that's where the Bulls have such an advantage. Like right now, the Bulls rank 6th in offensive rating, whereas the Cleveland Cavaliers are all the way down at 19th, I believe, in offensive rating. So again, that's going to be interesting to see just how everything plays out on the Bulls. The Bulls defense, we know the brand of defense they can play, even with their starters being out. This team is a tough, gritty team, and we're going to need contributions from unexpected people like we got in the last game. Can Troy Brown Jr. continue to show flashes and stretches like he has been showing on the bench? Do we get another big game from Ayo Dosunmu? Who on the bench? Matt Thomas, Haize Johnson, Tony Bradley, who steps up and gives us a big contribution in this game? This would be a game where Tony Bradley should and needs to step up a little bit more, considering the front court rotation we're going to be playing and facing against overall in this game. Lauri Markkanen, this is something that I wanted to talk about. Lauri's averages so far this season are 14.6 points per game, 6.1 points per game, and 1.2 points per game with a PER of 14.46. Right now, if Lauri Markkanen had those same numbers and was on the Chicago Bulls, Lauri Markkanen would be 7th on the Bulls in player efficiency rating. So again, good we got rid of Lauri. I don't think that was a question at all. But all these things, all these stories coming into this game is going to be important to watch and see how it plays out. I'll be going live right after the game. Probably not right. So this may be a night where I'm not live right after the game. It may be like 30 or 40 minutes after the game, depending on how some things shake in my regular life before I'm able to go live. But we will have a live stream after the game tonight. So be on the lookout for that. Our live streams are great. We had a special live stream to celebrate hitting 2,000 subscribers last night. Make sure you're following us on social media platforms at Bull Central Pod on every social media platform. Also, if you want to send in us a voicemail like I played on the last show, that number is 773-270-2799. Like I like to end every video on, go Bulls. Love you guys. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.